All right. Welcome back to the Authenticity Calling podcast. I am your host, Ralitza Spassova, and today we have a very special guest. Today we have Ayo Nova. Ayo Nova. I love the Ayo Nova, and she wrote this amazing book, and we're going to dive right into it. Thank you so much for being here with us, Ayo. It is such an honor, such a gift to be with you, to be able to chat a little bit and learn more about you and your journey.
Thank you so much for creating the space for us.
Absolutely. It is my honor. So, the future of business is female. I just have to say, I have been following you for probably about a year and a half. And the first thing that caught my attention, you were actually referred to me by Katya Vasi, who I studied with
I
for
know, right?
coaching.
The Bulgarian mafia in the building.
The Bulgarian mafia. She said, there's this other Bulgarian coach. She's amazing. You would love her. You totally resonate with her vibe.
Oh,
Everything you talk about, she talks about. So I was just, yeah, when I saw your work, I was just so inspired. I think the content you share and what you really come from the heart. And I think that was the most touching part. And that was the most magnetic part for me. And as I'm reflecting, I'm like, oh, right, of course, that's the gift, right? That's the gift we all have. But I love that the way that this book came, it was the perfect timing. It was, and I think it will land for everyone in the perfect way, in the perfect timing. It'll have the message that everyone is actually looking for. Can you share a little bit of your journey? How long? And first of all, let's talk about the book. It's called The Future of Business is Female: How to Lead, Earn More, and Run a Successful Business as a Woman. Wow.
I know, right? I love it as well. I have a couple of copies at home and I look at them and I'm like, wow, we made it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what was the question?
How long has it
How,
been in the making? What was the original inspiration behind it? I'm sure you're a visionary. So what was the original vision or your intention behind it? And how long did it actually really take until it landed? You said it's finally here.
right. I knew for a very long time that I would create something like that. I have been in business for a very, very long time. And so I knew that at one point I will write something about business just because I love business. I'm all about business. It intrigues me. And I have a couple of businesses actually. So this is not my only business. And ever since I've been a child, I've been intrigued by entrepreneurship. So I knew I will write something about that. And then my journey led me to working with so many incredible women and getting into the space of supporting women and improving women's lives. And
Mhm.
I'm really passionate about that. There are a few things that really move me, and it's women and it's women's rights, women's representation. In fact, just shortly before this call, I was looking a photo of the conference led in Egypt a couple of days ago, literally a day ago, yesterday, on the 13th of October. And I shared it. I don't know if you saw it, but there are no women besides Meloni, who is who is the leader of Italy.
Mhm.
She's amazing in some things, but only one woman.
Yeah.
And my blood was boiling.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, we see
I
it so common.
I was
Venture
so angry.
capitalists, 2% of venture capitalist funding goes to women.
Oh, it
2%.
might be less.
Yeah.
In the book, I think that I might have said too, but we are not seeing a lot of improvement.
Mhm.
So that was the reason. The reason was I want women to succeed and I want women to accelerate. And I believe there's a lot of work. We've done a lot of work, but there's still a lot of work.
Mhm.
This book took four years to be written. It might be even more than 4 years, but officially 4 years because I've went through so much research. There was a moment where I will literally read 6 books a week
Wow.
and tons of research just because the topics are so sensitive. So we're speaking about statistics, as you just shared,
Mhm.
statistics in the STEM industry, in technology, in politics,
Mhm.
in leadership. So I had
Mhm.
to make sure that my stats are correct first and foremost.
Mhm.
Then we also speak about the female brain. There's a whole chapter called The Fascinating Female Brain,
Yeah.
which I'm totally obsessed about.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of research as well because I'm not a biologist, not an expert. And so I had to make sure that all of the information that I deliver was double, triple, fifth time check.
Yes.
And I remember I was talking to a woman and she was like, my book took me 16 days to write. And I was like,
AI wrote it. I'm kidding. I mean,
no, no, no,
maybe it
no.
took
I don't
16
think it
days.
was
I'm
that,
just
but I
kidding.
was
Maybe
like,
it took 16 days.
girl, what's the topic? Because it's
Right.
been 4 years, and also quite a few things happened. So in the past 4 years, my business has catapulted quite a lot, and so. The book wasn't a thing that I wanted to outsource. In fact, I was having a conversation with someone. I don't remember who, sorry, but I've been having conversations with everyone this month. But the person said, well, you always can ghostwrite it. And I was like, oh no, I can't. Not this, because this is a love letter to women.
Mm,
I would understand ghostwriting something else,
yeah.
but this I couldn't.
No, it has you all behind it. And the only reason people will buy, honestly, I just read this actually in my own Gene Keys. I would be curious to look at your Gene Keys and compare, but I just read that it has to be the face. I have to be the face of my business, just like I'm sure you have to be the face of your business because people know, love, and trust you. The only reason I bought this book, if I read the title, I would be like, no, it's a little bit too broad burning feminist for me because I love supporting men. I love supporting divine union. I love supporting co creation. But this is the first thing you say inside the book. And if it wasn't for you, I don't think I would have bought it. So I'm so glad you didn't ghostwrite this.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't think it will be honest for me to write something so emotional, so personal, so important, and then somebody else would have been behind that. I do, just to be honest, I approve if somebody decides to go and use a ghostwriter for some topics.
Right.
But I think just because this was so honest
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of my story inside there and my voice and what matters, this matters for me. And also the headline matters for me because I do understand you're all about union, but we are far away from union
Yes,
in the
exactly.
statistics. We are ages, literally hundreds of years. And I had this conversation with another amazing woman, Camilla. She's one of my clients, one of my amazing friends as well. She's also about union. And I told her as well, I'm all about union as well. I'm all about, in fact, the book is dedicated to men as well, supporting
Exactly.
women.
Hmm.
But the problem right now is we are far away from that. Let's go back to the photo. If the photo was 40% women, I would have been all about that. And the narrative would have been about let's work towards union. But
Yeah,
right now, we have to really work consciously. How can be more supportive of women? We shouldn't be talking about how can women change.
that's right.
That's why in my chapter where I speak about what's holding women back, I apologize to women in the beginning. I'm telling them I just want you to know, I don't want to fix you. You're not broken,
Mhm.
but this will also help you because we also have to take responsibility because I
Mhm.
see women standing quiet. Sometimes I'm like, do you wake up one morning and think, wow, religion and the system really effed me up?
Yeah,
Does this make sense? Because to
that
me, it doesn't.
lands.
Name one man right that was taken. I'll wait. Even ChatGPT couldn't. I was like, name one human right that was taken away from men. They had it, and it was taken from them just because of their gender. There isn't.
Mm-mm.
And right now we have women, like even in Afghanistan, if you go there, women are not, they have less rights than a cat.
Mm. I mean, they
And
were
so for
written by men for men at the end of the day, if we go back to.
yes, and so for that, I think that we need to sit all together because you're right. Because by the way, these changes will not happen without men.
Mhm.
We're doomed without them. They're 50% of the human population after all. And we need to involve them and we need to press them and we need to demand and say, hey, we need this.
Mhm.
Because if you're not helping us, if we don't have supportive husbands,
Mhm.
fathers,
Mhm.
brothers,
Mhm.
bosses,
Mhm.
VCs, we're
Absolutely.
doomed. So the
Absolutely.
conversation is no longer we are going to march and do all of that. It is, how can we invite more men? And I'm so happy because I had men buying the book and actually buying it for their daughters. They're reading it, they're sending it to their wives, they're sending it to their partners, and so on and so on. So this is wonderful for me. This is wonderful that we we want to have a better experience of life,
Absolutely.
all
Absolutely.
of us.
And everyone is better for it. When a woman is empowered, I mean, let's just go back to the home, right? Let's go back to I was in obstetrics and gynecology. That was my my vision to become an obstetrician. I didn't end up doing that. Life pulled me into the more spiritual side rather than in healthcare and in medicine. But the very interesting part, I think for me, the moment that a baby comes, a man changes. The moment the baby arrives, he becomes a father. We become mothers well before that. And so many women go through postpartum depression. So many women are completely taken out. We completely change. We give away 99% of ourselves when we become women, when we become mothers. I mean, and so there's so much of that self-rejection. And I think if you can compare the mother's journey to actually how women show up in life and in business, it's very telling. We limit ourselves,
Mm.
make ourselves small. One of my other colleagues recently posted, another coach that I know, how much women shrink. There was a question in her post. Someone said, how do I stop myself from shrinking when I start to date a man, a powerful man, a strong man? And it's just so interesting that we shut ourselves down, and it's this systemic oppression that most people don't
Exactly.
recognize is there. And awareness is the number one, the first thing we have to do. But as soon as a woman is actually supported by her partner, supported by society, supported by everyone to say, this is something you're going through, let's lift you up, let's hold you, let's help you to get better. Here,
Mhm.
give me the baby, you take care of yourself for a while. It makes such a massive shift in that household, in that community, and being in service to women. I think we talk a lot about being in service to men, right? I want to cater to, I want to do all these things. That's a beautiful thing. And who's catering to her? It's supposed to be both ways. It's supposed to be that we're taking care of one another. And so I just love this book because it really does call us forward as women to take that action, to take that personal responsibility, to recognize. And it's not like a pity party. It's not this space of, oh, poor you, woe is me. Now we're hopeless and helpless now that we're aware. No, it's extremely inspirational. So I'm curious, what is your vision of the future after the entire world reads this book? What will shift? What will change? How will the world be different? How will we be different?
If even one girl reads this
Yeah.
and it changes her life, my mission is complete.
Yeah.
Because for me, this book is for women, but it's also for girls. I really, really want girls around the world to pick up this book and to say, wow, there is representation. Wow, I could be a multimillionaire in the tech world or whatever industry you choose. So for me, the most important element of this, and that's why it was written in a way that excluding the statistics, which will obviously change, but the wisdom inside will stay for a while, even if we have AI, because women and girls have to work so much. I speak to a lot of Gen Z girls, so I'm a millennial. I speak to Gen Z girls, and yes, I can see the difference, but it's still there. The programming is still there. The patterns that you also mentioned, they are still there. And so for me, above all, it is so important that a girl grabs this or her mother says, hey, do you want to read this with me? I know that probably it's too early, but I think that it's not too early. I mean, we expose our kids to information at such a fragile age, and it's the wrong information. They're listening to music. Some
Yeah.
of the music is really ratchet,
Yeah.
and twerking to it with the child there.
Yeah.
So we are exposing the child to grown-up stuff when the child is, you're exposing it to McDonald's when it's 1 years old. So you're exposing the child to grown-up stuff. So expose it to good things.
Yeah.
Expose it to a book that tells her you can do it. And it's not just pumping people. Yeah, you can do it. I'm not a fan of this hype, boss babe type of hype, spiritual
Bypassing.
We can
Yeah.
do it. Yeah, all
Yeah.
of us. No, it is really real saying, here's all the examples.
Yeah.
Here's how these women do it. Here are real practices, real, based on real research, real studies, real methods,
Yeah.
not just crystals in your bra,
Real
but real
results.
things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can do it too.
Yes.
And here's the support. Here's how you can do it.
Yeah.
Go and do it. And honestly, I kind of feel like this book with a lot of elements inside, it's like a mini school for women.
That's
Because
exactly how it lands.
exactly, we go to school and we learn so much information that I wish I have not learned because it's just waste in my brain that just takes space. I don't
Wow.
use it, but I wish I sat down with this book. And since I was a little girl, I actually started planning these ideas and these thoughts. Imagine a girl in just she's just starting her puberty when
Yeah.
she's attacked by the whole world, how she needs to look like,
Yeah.
and she already starts feeling icky and off, or she's like her breasts are too small or too big, and now all of a sudden she's like or her hormones are causing her to be a little bit more puffy maybe, or she's growing hairs here and there, and now all her self-worth is around what society tells her to be, with images of people who go to the clinic way too often, or even AI. And I want her to read this and to say, oh, listen to that. I have the permission to be myself, and I have the permission to do whatever I want to do. And actually, this woman is telling me I can be imperfect and mess up just like she did. But finally, if I really want something and I work for it, I will get it. So if this lands, one girl only on this planet, I've won.
I love
I'm good.
I absolutely love that. Thank you for sharing that. And you know what really comes through strongly for me is I'm going to share it with my son. He's 10 years old. You said we can't do this alone. It takes all of us to come together and actually make this commitment to uplift one another. When we're able to shine, when we're able to support our sisters. You talk about this right in the beginning of the book. Admittedly, I haven't read the whole thing. I read very slowly. I would love for it to be in an audiobook, which is what I was going to ask. Is it coming in an audiobook?
No,
Oh, all right, we're gonna
sorry.
have to sit down and read it. Pen and paper,
This is my
highlighter.
Balkan character for you. No.
I love it. Thank you for your honesty.
No, it's not because just because I'm so busy. I was just sharing yesterday with my audience that the next 3 months are going to be crazy. And then 2026, I'm actually going to focus on my startup. And so
Yeah.
I don't think I will have the time for an audiobook.
Mhm.
However, I don't know if you know, but there's devices and apps now that you can download that read off your screen.
There you go. There you
I
have it.
found out. I just actually recently found out that because I started reading Reality Transurfing, which is such a tough read, and sometimes I don't want to read because my eyes are so damaged from the day of calls and just staring at the screen. And I just asked ChatGPT, "Hey, can I find an app or something, a solution that will read off the screen?" And you actually have it built in on your phone. It's so
Absolutely.
crazy.
Absolutely. It's not Ayo Nova's voice, but it works.
I know I was telling someone, oh, you miss my funky accent.
Actually, a lot of people love accents. I will be honest. It really lands to hear it. And I think part of the transmission, it has your frequency in your voice.
I totally agree with that part.
Yeah.
Now, if we are absolutely serious, I believe in the power of voice. I actually speak about that in the book as well,
Amazing.
because your voice, your tonality, and how you speak position yourself as a leader or not. And for example, I was advising women, especially women from the States, to stop speaking from their nose, the typical
Mhm.
Californian girl who
Yeah.
speaks from the nose. I'm like, there's coaches that I can't even listen.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love you. I appreciate you as a woman, but I can't listen to you. That voice is literally that nose voice. And I'm a little bit congested now, so I apologize about that.
That's okay.
But it's so important that the voice comes from the stomach.
Yes.
You speak fast enough, not too slow, not too fast.
Mhm.
And you make conscious pauses. How does the voice land? And there's a lot of situations when I'm very conscious of that. How,
Mhm.
especially in trainings and paid trainings, how would my voice sound like in
Mhm.
a one-on-one call in a setting? And that really makes an impact. So I agree with you 1,000%.
Absolutely. Absolutely it does. I thank you so much for writing this book. It's such a gift and I can't wait to read it all. We're going to be starting a book club, so I would love for anybody who sees this, who's really curious, who's interested to join the book club. We're going to dig right into it. To me, this book is an activation. I felt it in my bones. As soon as I opened it and I started reading the first few pages, I was like, I have an idea and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And there's so many things that came through just from the first chapter. So I can't even imagine how much information and real life information, researched information, good information is in here. And I'm so, so grateful that you got it past the finish line. And you're right, it's your life's work, actually, is what it feels like. And it's so, so beautiful that you're doing it at this age where you get to actually take it everywhere you go. This impact it's going to change the world. It really is.
And so it is.
And so
I can't add anything else because you made the magical spell here for us, and so it is. I believe that so far every single person who has been through the book and they've read it, they sent a message, and I'm so happy and so grateful and a little bit overwhelmed because my DMs are literally exploding. I can't find my messages, and I try to answer myself to absolutely every single message because that's so important. But every single woman says, I could not. I had one woman who said, I read for 6 hours straight. I could not stop reading. And I was like, whoa, that's amazing. There's another woman who actually said this is the Bible of female entrepreneurship. The fact that I had another woman who said, I'm buying this to all of my daughters. They have to read it. And so for me, these signals at this point mean so much to me. And I know that there was a reason why I spent 4 years doing so much, and I hope it really helps. My main goal with this is not so much for the fame or copies or all of that. In fact, I'm the kind of a person who, yes, I'm very results driven, but for me, stuff like that don't really matter that much. I understand that a lot of copies mean a lot of people, but ranking and number one here and number two there, these are not that important. It's important that somebody gets that in a moment where they truly need it,
Mhm.
and it lands and it helps them to improve their lives. This is the most important thing.
I love it. And I'm all about authenticity. And I have to say, once we dig deep and once we actually find our voice and start to speak the truth and start to ask for support, where there's so many people that are actually willing, not only willing, but really excited to support your mission and your vision and your calling as a woman. That's actually true. That's our magnetism. That's our power. That's our really our superpower. Once we dig deep and find that voice, to be able to be inspired by ourselves and actually take that inspired, surrendered, aligned action is so, so important because people will show up. So,
Indeed. And here's the thing, if you're struggling to find your voice, it's okay because a lot of women have not been taught
that's
to
right.
look for their voice. Not only women, let's be honest, men either, because
Mhm.
we go through school for such a long time and we're brainwashed not to think for ourselves. We're given exercises that if you're wrong, you get an F. So you're judged for failing. All you gotta do is study some information that somebody else gave you. They even teach you how to learn by heart all the poems, and they don't encourage you that much to write poems,
Right.
but to just learn them by heart. At least that's when I was growing up back in Bulgaria. This is how it was. I think
Yeah.
I've learned so much by heart. Well, I was writing a lot when I was a child. I actually have 16 books in Bulgarian that were published when I was a
Wow.
child. I was like a
Wow.
prodigy writing. Yes, I loved writing. And
Wow.
so what I wanted to say is if you can't find your voice, know that it's okay. And also know that it's okay to look at someone and really appreciate them for who they are. But I see so many copycats as well in
Hmm.
different industries. Oops, I
Hmm.
see like people copying somebody else and they're
Mhm.
doing the same format and they're trying to make it their own. And
Mhm.
I feel that's not what we're supposed to do. I don't think that this truly adds up to our experience on planet Earth, even if you
Mm.
look at it like that.
I love that you say that.
But I think that as a woman, I think that you just have to be patient
Mhm.
and go through the exercises in the book that will help you find your voice, because there's so many layers as to why we're not authentic. Why aren't we true to ourselves? Why aren't we following the path that we want to follow? Why aren't we saying what we want to say? Why aren't we truly living fully? And I want to say this lastly, is that even I, a person who have been through so much, I have, even today I had one realization. I was like, is this truly what I want to do? And it was with a commitment that I've decided to embark on. And I had to sit back and think, is this what I really want? And so even after so much work, there's still work. And that's what
Mm.
life is all about. It's
Yes.
about learning, unlearning, shape shifting, becoming another version that exists of yourself, turning into that version, growing into that version. So just have fun with the process.
I love that. I was going to ask for a pearl, and there it is. Have fun with the process. If you haven't purchased it yet, this is the book, The Future of Business is Female by Ayo Nova. Ayo, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for sharing your gift with us. This is so beautiful. And I'm so excited to catch up when you're back from this whirlwind that has your attention for the next little while here. It seems like a big launch. I can't wait to find out about it. You're such a gift.
I want to say something. I want to say that you have been so supportive, so beautiful in this process. And for me, this means so much. And this is an example. So we can say a lot of things, right? But we actually are living the experience, because I didn't have to reach out. I didn't have to ask you for anything. You did a whole live. You did a bunch of posts. You messaged personally to express how you feel. You were super supportive. You did so many things that really shows, if a woman wants to really empower other women, how it's the proper way to do that. So I want to say thank you so much, my Bulgarian sister, for doing that. It means actually even more that you're Bulgarian and you're doing that. So thank you for doing that. I wanted to put this out there because this is the living part of the movement, because we all speak about stuff and not a lot unfortunately live by it, and that's okay. You can learn from this conversation today.
I love that. Thank you so much. It is such an honor. And it's such an honor to support other women. It is such a gift when we surrender our ego. And that's what actually ironically lifts us up. And I just love so much that you're so open to it. Because you're also the woman that received it. You're not the woman that said, you're trying to do this or you're trying to do that or you're using it to spin it or you're manipulate, it was really like, I receive your support. That is such a gift. And that's the part of the feminine, the divine feminine. Ah, such a gift. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you as well from the bottom of my heart. And thank you to everybody who gets the book. And if you get the book, if you're part of the book club, if you have questions, send me the questions. Again, everybody who gets the book, there is also additionally free group coaching, which I decided to offer to my audience as a gift. And so you get into this group setting where after the trainings, there are 10 to 15 minutes where people come and ask questions. Last week we had a couple of women on the Zoom and they asked their questions besides being part of the training. So you can win that. And also when you share this, I'm going to gift one woman with one-on-one. So I also try to do my best on my end. There was a woman who asked me, since you love women so much, why isn't this book for free? And I said, well, because I think that a whole year of group coaching and one-on-one is quite a lot that
It
I
is,
can give from myself, and actually matters even more than buying a book that's just $8.
Well, it's almost free and it does cost money to make a book, by the way. For those people that don't know, it costs
Yeah,
money to put
paper,
anything out.
editing, and the services of Amazon. Thank you, Amazon, so much.
Well, in 4 years of your life, like let's be honest, that still costs, it's quite an investment to write a book. But the truth is people aren't truly genuinely invested if they don't put some skin in the game. I hear this all the time. And
Oh,
I
you
also
have to
give
do
away
that.
things for free all the time. And that's the part. I think people show up differently when they've actually, and not only that, energetically, life shows up differently when we invest in ourselves. So when you say, I'm buying this book to invest in myself, life will show up and invest in you. It always comes back full circle. So it's worth it. It's worth every little penny that you have to scrounge and beg and plead and just buy it. You will not regret it. And Kindle, it's almost free. So there you go.
Yes, do it.
Do it. I love you. Thank you so much for
I
being.
love you too.
Have a
Thank you.
wonderful day. Have an amazing launch. Whatever you're doing, we'll be following. And I look forward to the follow-up to this. Yeah, to this book club. It's gonna be powerful. I'm excited.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's go. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for
Thank
the beautiful words.
you. Take care.